Looking to declutter and organize your garage? Here are 4 inspiration and motivation videos from when I did our massive garage project. They're full of tips and tricks to help you power through and conquer your garage clutter for good. Whether you watch the video before you do your project or have me on in the background and work with me, I hope that they're going to empower you to help you power through. You got this. If you've been waiting for a very messy spot of my home for me to declutter during this challenge, wish granted. I don't think you're ready for this. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my Monica closet. My name is Shauna. If we haven't met yet, I am excited that you're here. This is the bane of my existence, this garage. We have really great systems, or like things that could work, but there's just so much in here that the systems need tweaking. So I have blocked off 4 days. I hope it's enough time to get this done. I've already in my mind blocked off 4 different zones, so I'm going to do a zone a day, so I'll share those with you in a second. But I'm nervous. My husband and I were supposed to do this together over the summer, but that just obviously did not happen with having a kid graduate high school and then get ready for college, and another kid, you know, getting ready for their sophomore year of college. And my husband traveled a lot for work, and it was just, there was a lot this summer. There was a lot. So I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it, but I'm really going to work hard to get this under control and hopefully be the last major declutter we ever have to do in this room. So let me show you the 4 zones. Out of all of the garage spaces, I think this one right here is the one I'm most embarrassed about, because I started doing this project, I think it was earlier this year. It may have been last year, I can't remember. But this was my piles from that I never took care of. So I have like a move into the house pile, I have a get rid of pile, but clutter attracts clutter. So like there's things here that don't belong here, but because, hey, this stuff's already piled up, let's just pile more on top. So remember, clutter attracts clutter. The more you get rid of clutter, the less clutter you'll have for various reasons. So this over here is going to be part of zone 1. So here we have a 3-drawer cart that I use for gardening. We have our garage recycling bin, which is backup for if the one in the kitchen is too full or if we've got bigger items. More gardening things, gardening tools. I did install this here, which has really made a difference, but oh, the clippers are in my work bucket down here, which is why they're not up there. And then just a whole lot of stuff. Do we need all of it? I don't think so. So this I'm going to be tackling today. And then over here, I'm also going to count as part 1, zone 1, because there's stuff up here that my kids don't use. This bed actually needs to go to the basement. We moved the box spring and mattress down for my daughter's new bed, but this needs to go down there as well. So just kind of going through this section to make sure that it's done. Zone 2 is going to be the workbench. My husband has a lot of tools, but as you can see, they get kind of cluttered easily. So I really want to tackle this. Also, this is the bedding that came with my daughter's bed. I'm going to throw it downstairs and then she can decide if she wants to keep it or not later. And then zone 3 is going to be this back corner here. We have wire cubes here, similar. These are the same ones that we use downstairs in my office closet. So just kind of getting this back corner under control. And then zone 4 is this back shelving, which I need to go through all of this stuff. This pretty much here is containers that need to be just, am I keeping them? Am I not keeping them? As you can see, some of my art festival things are all over the place. And that's kind of exploded. There's another part of a festival tent right down there. So this needs an overhaul for sure. Also, my husband obviously is not here, and I know there's a lot in here that he's going to have an opinion on. So I'm actually going to take one of my 4-foot tables from my art festival booth. I'm going to set that up, and anything that I need his opinion on, I'm going to put on that table so when he gets home from work, or if he, like, even if it has to wait until this weekend, I'm okay with that. So just going to put that there. He can let me know later, and then I'm still getting the work done. I don't have to wait for him. He still feels like he's being heard and seen for what he wants to keep. So let's stop talking. Let's start tackling this clutter. Before I start actually tackling the clutter, I'm going to set up my table for the things that I need my husband to look through, and then I'm going to actually remember to grab my donating box and a garbage bag this time. I'm learning, guys. So just going through item by item, a lot of this is garbage. A lot of this just needs to live elsewhere in our home. So just tackling everything item by item and just making my way through this pile one baby step at a time. Then our best helper, Mason, decided to come say hi, see what I was up to. A lot of this needs to be washed, so we have reusable water balloons that the kids love to use during the summer. I have some blankets here. The blankets actually are supposed to live in the back of our vehicles, but we had to pull them out for some reason. And then, of course, they sat here and got dirty, so we're going to wash those and then get them ready to go back in the vehicles before winter, because living here in Western New York, you never know if, like, you're going to get stuck somewhere because of the snow. So having those extra blankets in the back is a must around here. So just trying to figure out things. I have a whole basket of stuff here that needs to go to our shed. Why it's even here, I don't know. So just trying to not get overwhelmed by the pile. You'll see me stop and stand quite a few times just to, like, catch my breath, refocus myself, recenter myself, and just keep breathing. Sometimes when we do declutter projects, it is really easy just to almost want to shut down because there's so much that needs to be taken care of and just don't know where to begin. So just choosing one item at a time, taking a breath, making your way through the pile. That's how we get things done. I did find some pesticide here that I have to look up how to dispose of properly. So making sure I set that to the side and just trying to really decide, what do I actually use for my garden in this area? I'm trying to use the container method where, each container is a boundary. Things have to fit in this container. If it doesn't fit in the container, something has to go. But remembering that areas are a container, so like this table is a container, underneath the table is a container, and the garage as a whole is a container. And if there's too much in a container, it can't stay organized. And I think that's the problem with the garage, is that there's just too much. So I need to be ruthless. I really need to be honest with myself. Am I going to use this? Am I not going to use this? Because when I'm trying to keep everything, I can't keep the area clean, and then I can't find anything to work. So we actually have a lot of multiples in this garage just because of things we couldn't find. So we're wasting our time, we're wasting our money, and enough is enough. I'm ready to get this just tackled, and I know that I'm going to have to declutter again someday, because we always have to declutter. Things are always coming into our homes, but I'm hoping that it's going to be an easier process from here on out. So tackling this corner, this blue can was here when we moved in, and we just used it for storing our tools, but honestly it's a waste of space, so it needs to go. I'm going to just pull everything out of it and try to rework this corner just to make it a little bit more functional. So the peg rack that I hung up, actually I had found in this can when we moved in. I'm going to just try to hang as many of these garden tools as possible on there. And then some of these tools are broken. Why are we keeping them? If the tip of the shovel is cracked, it's not going to work. But yet we have hung on to it. I'm done. It needs to go. I'm gonna just double check with my husband to make sure he doesn't want it for the fire pit, for just like stirring ashes around or like logs or anything like that. But I'm ready to let it go. So just trying to clean up the area, wishing I had a mask. So covering my face up with my shirt because it is so dusty, and just trying to make the best use of space over here. A lot of the things in the yellow bucket that I'm going to go through in a moment are from the garden. So there's like bamboo stakes, there's like tomato stakes in here, there's some small green stakes for like holding up veggies. We have this beautiful system that we've been using for the past 2 years. I don't need to keep all of this. I will keep the green, like the wavy ones right here, and just tuck them in the corner because those will be good for other things. Like if we ever decide to grow peppers again, those will be really good. But everything else, I'm just going to try and focus on that the next 3 days. But here is the after. It's amazing how a little bit of time can make such a big difference, and how much bigger a space feels without the clutter. So hopefully my husband and I can go through his stuff tonight, and if not, that's okay. Why am I keeping it? So I really need to, at some point, drive that point home for myself. So just starting to clean up this area and stack my buckets up. I do use these a lot for like weeding or garden projects, or if we're harvesting like a lot of tomatoes or whatever. We love the buckets for carrying all that stuff in. And then just making sure everything is really swept up and tidy, just because, leaves blow in, there's sawdust from when my husband has worked on projects, and just trying to make this space feel not just better organized, but just better overall. So just taking care of that, gonna put my buckets back in, and then my yellow work bucket. I could not for the life of me decide where that was going to live. I ended up putting it under the shelf. I put it in front of the shovel. I moved it back. I probably moved this thing like 6 times before I decided that it really should live under the table. So it was just amusing to myself how many times I ended up moving that bucket. And then we're moving over to part 2 of the zone 1. There's some outdoor winter toys up here that my youngest hasn't used in a while. He was really the only one who used them, so I'm going to double check with him. Finally moving these bed pieces out of here to go down to the basement. I don't know if these oil jugs are good oil, are they bad oil? So I'm setting them over onto the workbench. I think they're good. I actually probably should have moved them onto the table for my husband to look at, but it's fine. So just going through everything as I can, finding spark plugs and miscellaneous tools, and it's just, this looks like it's a landing pad for my husband. So I want to make sure that we just get it clutter free. So it's only just his grilling things. That way no other clutter will be here. Making a home for everything is my goal. I am a little nervous that I'm not going to get this whole garage done in 4 days. And if I don't, that's okay. It's still steps in the right direction. So I'm just going to focus on that the next 3 days, because any progress I make is good progress. And today, great progress was definitely made. It's amazing how much bigger a space feels once you take all the clutter out. It's crazy. And that's a wrap on day 1 of 4 in the garage. I feel so much better about the space. Makes me wonder why I waited so long to tackle this project. But it feels better, and now I have to do the rest of it. I'm not looking forward to it, but I know I'll feel better when I'm done. So I'm going to go shower because I feel disgusting, and I'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow I need to remember to wear junk clothes because I got grease on me. I don't know if it was from the grill or car stuff or what, but junk clothes tomorrow. And no, next time I do this project, I need to get a mask or something because of the dust. Yeah, poor planning on my part, but it's okay. We will persevere. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. It is day 2 of cleaning out the garage. Here's a reminder of where we started. And here is where we are now. This area is much better. My husband and I went through stuff on the table last night. I have that set up as garbage. And then that corner is still neat and tidy. Not much went back over there. If you remember from yesterday, this was not here. It ended up not fitting very well in the basement. So it is back in the garage. It is going to, when this all gets done, it is going to live here in front of all my art festival things, because I am not going to do any art festivals probably for the foreseeable future. So that is a very safe thing for it to bump up against. I think we're going to actually have it stand upright just to take up less space. We'll see when we get there. But today is zone 2, which is the tool bench. And then I'm going to have to move this because I need to get back in there as well. So my goal is to get these 2 table things done. Top, bottom, just go over the peg rack really quick. Donations are here and here. And then my youngest said we can get rid of the snowman kit. So I'm going to do that and just try to get this area cleaned up. I know once I get these bikes out of here, that's going to free up a lot of space and feel much better in the long run. One thing that is going to be very important when I do this is I have to set up a spot for vehicle items. We just got those this weekend because my husband had a coupon, and then all of those that I moved over actually need to go back to the mechanic. They are used oil, and they will dispose of them for us. So these 2 plus these 3, we need a spot for things that need to go back to the mechanic, and we need a spot for things that are still good and to be kept. And then we just need better storage systems for all of these tools down here, because things just get piled up. Like this bag is not very sturdy, so it does not hold things well. So it's hard to put things away and find things. So I need to figure out just better systems. But I think first I need to move these bikes out of here, which don't know how I'm going to do. I might take them back through the mudroom because the garage door is blocked. I did not think this through very well. It's okay. Before I get anything fun done, I need to move this box spring out of the way so I can get to the saw and the rolly cart that it's on. And then we're going to move the bikes out of here. I actually just put them into the front yard, so when my husband gets home, he can help me put them away. Don't really need help to put bikes away, but our shed is really full. So just having that extra set of hands to get the bikes squeezed in there. The shed really isn't as bad as the garage is, but it's pretty close, and I have 2 days scheduled for next week to get that done. So just starting on the saw and its cart, working top to bottom, left to right, and cleaning as I go, because there are so many cobwebs, there's so many leaves that have blown into the garage, and there's a lot of dust, and just trying to clean as I go. I know I don't always do that when I declutter, but for this project, I really want to make sure I take the time to do this, because I don't come out here often. So I don't see myself coming out to do it later, where in my kitchen, I will see myself wiping down cabinet shelves and things later, because I'm always in there. So just want to make sure I get that done now. I do wish that I had gone to the store and gotten a mask, but it's fine. It's fine. So now that it's cleaned off, I don't really know where to go, so I'm just going to grab a bin and try to see if I can make some sense of this. So I figured this bag, which I mentioned, this tool bag, is really not sturdy. So to put things away is very difficult just because the sides of the bag don't hold up. So putting the stuff into something more rigid like this plastic container, I think will work better in the long run. So all of the sanders are going to go in here, all of the sandpaper, just so that stuff has a home. It's amazing to me how I can never find sandpaper when I need it, or then when I don't need it, I can find it in 5 different spots. Now I'm kind of wondering, all right, I have these saw blades and I have a little saw. Can I hang this up? Or, that's going to be a pain because I know I have more saw blades. This whole process was so mentally draining because there's just so much, and while we have areas that are really good for organizing, there are a lot of areas that we're really bad in out here. So not only was I battling all of the mess and not knowing what to do with it, but my perfectionism was trying to take over, going, oh, well, you can't do this because it might not be right. You might have to do this over again. And that may have been the bigger struggle that I had to overcome. I am a perfectionist. Part of that, I think, is being a firstborn. But it's something that I have to work through, because if I hold on and wait for being perfect, I'm never going to get anything done. So to keep reminding myself, even if it's wrong and you have to redo it tomorrow or on Thursday, you are still taking baby steps, making homes for things, even if you have to redo it. So pushing through all of that to get this done. I actually found some things that I was supposed to take to school years ago for our Odyssey of the Mind creative problem solving club. I used to coach. I coached for 3 years, and I had set some things at the back of the tool bench for my team. And I don't know why I did that, because obviously I forgot to take the stuff in. So I set them aside to donate later. And I thought that if I created, homes for things by taking bins, that things might stay organized better. And that way I would use the container method and would be able to really help myself declutter better. So the container method is basically where you use the container as a boundary. If it doesn't fit in the container, something has to go, which is great. And then you think of like the room as a container. You think of your house as a container. And the container becomes the bad guy, because if it doesn't fit in the container, that's not you. It's not your problem. It's the container's problem. So some things get big containers, some things get smaller containers. So I thought maybe that would be a really good thing to do, is just start using the container method. I also thought, oh, hey, this drawer unit that was in my office might be really good for holding all these extra tools. I bought it from the tool section at a store. So I'm like, oh, this will be great. So I started putting things in there, like brad nailers, like the boxes fall apart. So putting the different nails into different containers based on their size, and staples and things, and like saw blades. And this is going to be great. I was really excited about that. And like, okay, there's plenty of space here. And I wasn't sure where it was going to live, because we don't have wall space to really hang it. So it just sat there for a bit, and I got more containers to just kind of put things together. So like all of the socket sets are in a container. I ended up putting all of the sanders and the sandpaper in a container. I put saws, the little saws, into a container, and then the saw blades fit in there well. And it just was starting to really make sense. I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm actually making progress now. I have, as you can see to the right, a lot of containers available to me, so it makes sense, and I'm using what I have. I'm not spending any money on this organizing project. I just thought, hey, this is a really good idea. Let's run with it. At this point, I had another roadblock and had no idea what to do, so I just started clearing out space in front of the tool bench. This bed used to be my son's, and then he got his brother's bed when his brother upgraded to a different size. So we're letting this one go. I need to list it on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something to sell it. It has been sitting here since July. It is now October, so I'm going to actually take care of that in the next couple days. And then just continue trying to make sense of this mess. I totally got lost in the craziness of the mess, and just, it's normal. If you are working on a big project and you just get lost in the weeds, it is normal. Take a step back, take a breath, and then find something easy to do. So this table saw, I actually turned it so it's taking up more space depth-wise than width-wise, which will give me more storage space. Why we weren't storing these things like that in the first place, I don't know, but that just kind of made sense to me. And then started going through the car products, because apparently we had bins of car things that were hidden behind the bed, because obviously that's what we do. And my husband said anything that wasn't the specific oil and cleaning products for cars could go. However, I found some other products that I'm like, hey, I don't think he knows that we have this. And there are definitely things that we had multiples of. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep all of this. I'll let him go through it later when he has time. As long as it all fits inside of a container, I'm not going to make him deal with it now. So I started going through that and found a lot of things we could get rid of. So put those on his table for him to take care of later. But just trying to not let the chaos of this tool bench overwhelm me, which some moments was easy, some moments was really, really difficult to do. This bin of car supplies, I don't know how old some of this stuff is, but there's some newer things like oil filters in here. Like, these are gonna get lost. So I pulled out this small 3-drawer cart that I had on hand. I'm like, we're gonna use this. I set up a drawer for all the oil filter things. So like, there's oil filters, there's the funnels my husband will use. And then another one had things like spark plugs and headlights. And like, this is going to make a lot of sense. This is going to make life a lot easier for my husband. This is a great way to use what I have on hand. I was really excited about this, and just continuing like with that excitement of, hey, I'm making progress again. It made it really easy to continue going through everything. I'm like, okay, things are getting homes. I can do this now. And then obviously I hit a wall again. I wanted containers to store like the bottles of car supplies, but I really did not want to use the red container or the black container because I was using clear containers. But all the clear containers I had, I wanted to be using in zone 3. So I said, you know what? It's fine. Even temporarily, we're just going to use these crates. They're sturdy. That's what we're here before. I know they're going to fit in the space. It is okay to use them even if they don't match the like quote unquote aesthetic of the garage. So decided it's fine. And continuing to just finish up this one container. There are things in here that I think are older than my daughter. How they ended up at our house, because some of the stuff belongs to my in-laws, I'm not sure. So must have come over in one of my husband's cars at one point, and so set that stuff aside for them. And of course, the 3-drawer cart doesn't fit in the area. So going to have to find a home for that later, because I'm really excited about that. But I'll probably find a home for that when I do zone 3 tomorrow, because I'm hoping a lot of the stuff on the floor over in this corner will actually go goodbye, and then there'll be room for the cart over there, and that'll make a lot of sense. And then I decided to put the little drawer unit down here. I don't like that I have to put it in sideways, because that means anytime we want anything, we actually have to pull it out. But it's a temporary fix. I am not going to let my perfectionism like cause me to freeze and not make any progress. So I think the battle for zone 2 was more of a mental battle than a cleaning everything up battle, which for me, it makes sense, with my mental health issues and things. But I think it's kind of normal anyway that when you are doing a big project and you don't know where to go, that you just freeze and get overwhelmed. I think that is a very normal reaction. So working on the top, and I'm bouncing around spot to spot. And you can see here that I'm actually telling myself left to right, Shauna, left to right, work in a pattern. And so I started doing that, and you'll see that I kind of bounce around a little bit, but mostly it is a left to right pattern. I'm really trying to do that because that's when I will see progress. I did work bottom to top just because a lot of the stuff on the top had to come down underneath to that bottom shelf. So my goal is to get this table completely cleared off, or like 99% cleared off on top, because when my husband works on projects, he clears it off anyway. So that's a lot of work. If he stores things on top here, to have to clear it off in order to use it, then you have to put things back plus clean up from your project. That seems like a lot of work to me. And I want to make his life easier. So the more I can get cleared off here, the better in the long run. So I'm going to want to make sure that all those screw boxes that I just touched are going to end up over in the corner on the wire cube shelf over there. There's a lot of screws and nails over there already. So when I work on that tomorrow, I want to make sure that everything is together. So just trying left to right, one thing at a time, clear things off. All right, coming to a close for the top of this tool bench. I moved all of the screws down to the right side, so I remember to take care of it when I work on zone 3 tomorrow. Here is everything I need my husband to look at. Granted, the box spring we know, and the twin bed I just have to list online, but we'll have a project to work on later, but not bad at all. I'm really proud of myself for pushing through. This looks amazing, and I can't wait to show my husband. To be honest, I'm not sure how I'm feeling after doing today. Progress, great. I'm feeling like, hey, I might actually be able to get this all done in 4 days. However, the organizing systems that I'm like, oh, this might work, I'm not going to know for another couple days if what I've done today is going to stick or be reworked, just because of whatever I find the next couple days. So I implemented the 3-drawer cart for lawnmower and weed whacker tools, and then miscellaneous car stuff, and then oil change things, but I don't know where that's going to live. And then the little gray drawer unit from my office, I started putting things in there, but I don't know if my husband's going to like it. I don't know if it's going to be a waste of space. I don't know if there's going to be a better spot for that stuff. So that is still... Sorry, there was a shadow that looked like a mouse running across the floor, and I totally just jumped. Whew, okay, forgot what I was saying. I don't know if there's going to be a better use for that gray drawer unit, or if it's going to be fixed or what. So I'm done for today. I'm going to go shower because I just feel like I'm covered in dust, which I totally am. But yeah, like I am happy with the progress. I'm just uneasy because I don't know if things today were done in vain, and I don't want to say in vain because I made progress. It's just I don't want to waste time in the future, but it's the not the procrastination, but it's the perfectionism that has held me back from doing organizing out here. So I gotta let it go. I just gotta go with the flow, do what feels right in the moment, and then tweak in the future. So that's it for day 2. See you tomorrow for day 3 when we do zone 3. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye. Welcome back. It is day 3 of 4 in my garage. I'm hopeful we can get this done in the next 2 days, and if not, that's okay. But I am Shauna. I'm so happy you are here. Let's see where we've come from. Here's where we started.
As you can see, when I started this challenge on Monday, the garage is a disaster. It is definitely easier to just throw things in here or leave them on the tool bench than it is to put them away. We have tried in the past to organize out here, but you cannot organize clutter. So this week I am tackling the clutter. I am being ruthless. I'm getting things out of here, and so far, so good. We're halfway through, so I'm excited to see how today goes.
And here's where we are today.
So zones 1 and 2 are good. Here's my pile of things that my husband needs to look at, or things that just need to be moved to the side for now. But so much better. There's walking space, there's flat surfaces, and then you look at this half and yeah, we'll get there.
Today's plan is to tackle this back section here. I think I am going to switch this. So all of these are open on the side, so it's like a shelf. This one we built it so it's more like a bucket. So I'm actually going to cut the zip ties because we used zip ties to make sure that it stayed really like solid. I'm going to cut the zip ties, and I'm going to put like a shelf one on top so we have another shelf here. And if the tarps are still good, I'm going to put them in one of these bigger totes here and set that on top because I think that's going to gain us some more storage space. And like, I mean, any space I have to organize better, I really want to take advantage of that. So I think that's the plan. And then all of the containers from my office, I think I'm going to try and use those in these cubes so it's a little bit more cohesive looking, and hopefully it's going to fill the space better. I know that they fit well because the containers were in these cubes downstairs in my office closet, so I know that they fit well, even like the little ones stacked two, like one on top of each other. So I'm hopeful that it's going to make a really big difference. So that is why I haven't been like using these containers yet. I've been just waiting to use them over here. But enough talk. Let's see if I can get this done today.
I am starting by removing this hamper full of gutter downspout parts. I've been asking my husband if we could get rid of it for a couple of years since we got our new gutters, and he wants to hang on to it just in case, which I do get, but it's always in the way. So I set it aside in hopes that if I move it out of this area and put it by his table, then he'll see the clear space and go, oh, maybe we don't need to keep that. So stay tuned to see what he says about that. But I'm going to start by taking care of all of the tarps. I figured this is a really easy spot to start. Over here is very overwhelming. There's a lot of different things here. This is just something, if you have sensory issues, you may have seen that I kind of reacted in a not so good way with that tarp. Totally had to go wash my hands. It was gross feeling. So I'm snipping the zip ties and removing this front panel. I found masks. Day 3 in, definitely don't want to use them. because, yeah, let's just leave it at that. So I'm taking this front panel off and I'm putting it in the top to make more shelf space rather than a bucket space. And then we'll put the bin of tarps on top, and then I just have lots of extra storage space, so very excited about that. And then moving on, trying to figure out where to go from here. So just start kind of pulling things out, seeing what really is over here. And then I'm like, you know what? We're just going to grab containers and just start grouping things, sorting like with like, and putting them into bins. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's fine. But it's just a way for me to start really seeing what we have. Just things are in multiple spots over here. So one bin, I was putting things like rope, and another one was like all the bungee cords. And just trying to sort things. I put like zip ties and fishing line and like duct tape into another one. And that was working really well. I felt like I was seeing a lot of progress early on. And when you can do something like that, it really builds your motivation and just gets the ball rolling and really helps you see your progress early, which can help you just really push through. So that seemed to work really well here. But once I had those kind of sorted, I started kind of hitting a slump. Just random things that I was finding that I didn't know what they were or really what they belonged. So I was moving a lot of things over to the table for my husband to give input on later, which was also tricky. We didn't have time the night before to go through all the things from doing zone 2. So it was hard stacking things and keeping them on the table, but I did the best I could, and that was just good enough. So just continuing to sort piles. My husband has been so wonderful and supportive about this whole garage thing. He does wish that he could be here to help me through this, but I have to say, setting that table aside to put items on has been wonderful. It's helped him from getting overwhelmed, and then he can easily see, oh, these are the only things I have to make decisions on. So it's been really great. He's really impressed with how far I've gotten. So I can't wait to show him after today. Can't wait to show him when this whole thing is done. If my husband was a different man, I would totally record his reactions every day, but he loves his privacy, so we're going to respect that. And then just moving on with more containers, finding all the light bulbs, actually going to have a container for the light bulbs so that they're actually all going to fit in, which is exciting. We'll actually be able to find things when we need them. So we are very excited about that. You know you're getting old when you get excited about where your light bulbs are. First it was potato storage in my pantry, and now it's light bulb storage in the garage. And then after just a brief moment of puttering, I decide to move on to the electrical bin. Now we have a lot of electrical things. So in order to make it easier for my husband to find things, I decided to divide it into 2 bins. One is all of the supplies, all of the tools, things like that. Or, for me who does not understand electrical work at all, anything I don't exactly know what it is, but I know that is electrical. And then in another bin, I put all the light switches and the outlets and things like that, just to make it easier for my husband to find things, just because everything was just buried in one bin together and then you couldn't find things. I found a pack of brand new outlets in the bottom of this, and we had just bought more. So having them separated, I think, is going to be a really good idea. As you can see, I'm getting a little frustrated because there's just so much stuff. And then finding containers and matching lids, even the ones that I just brought up from the office, was a challenge just with how messy things are. And that is just why I'm just how exhausting this whole project is, especially trying to do it in 4 days. I'm so excited for it to be done so I can actually find what I need when I need it. That we've been in this house for 7 years and we have never been able to do that. Even when we built the shelves along the back, even when we built the tool bench, all of that is custom that we designed and put in here. Even then, we just couldn't get things organized because there's always been too much. As you can see, I cannot find a lid to save my life for this bin. It took so many tries, but we eventually got there in the end. I decided after a minute to put all of the plumbing supplies into another bin. This bin works. It's great, but I figured, might as well make it cohesive and just put it in a matching bin. Didn't have to do that, but I wasn't sure if I was going to need another one of these for another location or another set of supplies and things out here. So I decided to just move it over, and I'm glad I did, because there was just a lot of stuff in the bottom that was not plumbing. Why it was in the plumbing bin, I don't know, but I was glad that I decided to pull it out. I ended up rearranging the containers just a little bit. I really wanted anything that I know that we will reach for often to be easier to get to, so I put that closer to the tool bench, and anything that's things we don't always reach for, put that a little bit farther away, just to make our lives easier. Just because I know that if it's not easy, we're not going to take care of it. Case example, the garage as a whole. But now I'm moving on to reboxing, screws, and nails. Wow, totally spaced on that for a second. But trying to keep all the screws in one container, all of the nails in another container, and actually we don't have as many nails as I thought we did. The nail bin that had been here actually had screws in it as well, but I got all of the screws to fit in one box except for the big plastic container that was broken when I found it yesterday. I'm going to ask my husband if I could just put those into a baggie and then put them in the bin. But the nails, not a lot of them. So actually I was able to put extra parts from building furniture and things in that bin as well. So finding a home for that stuff was actually very exciting, because we just have things all over the place. And then when we're oh, hey, we need another one of these dowels or another shelf pin or something, we've never been able to find them. So to have those actually have a home is going to be absolutely wonderful. And at this point, because pretty much all of the containers have been redone, I kind of hit a wall again. So it was just puttering and okay, I can take care of this one item. I can go put this on the table for my husband, just trying to still make progress, but still feeling I don't know what to do next. I thought it would be a really good time for me to put all of this wood in the corner. We have an old plastic kids outdoor toy box over here that holds all the wood scraps. Not everything's in there. Could it fit in there? Yeah, so I decided to just kind of move all those pieces in there and kind of just get them off the floor. I really don't want anything on the floor, so it's easier to clean, and just when things are on the floor, everything else ends up on the floor. Clutter attracts clutter, so I really wanted to make sure flat surfaces, including the floor, were completely clear as best as possible. And when that was done, I decided to just continue looking through the bins on the bottom, which are just full of miscellaneous things, which is why I really didn't want to do them, just because I don't know what to do with this stuff. So just looking through it, I emptied one. I don't even remember what was in there, but it was just random things. And then the other one had just more gutter parts. I don't even think half of them fit the new gutters that we have. And then once I cleared that space out, I'm oh, hey, all the car things can come over here, which will free up more space on the shelf in the tool bench for all those tools to sit better. And it just was starting to kind of come together a little bit, which was really exciting. So I ended up, the 3-drawer cart that I put together yesterday, I found a container to put the oil change items in there and the other miscellaneous car repair little things into a bin, and was able to put that on a shelf, and then actually had the good oil on that shelf as well. And then the top drawer, which was mower and the weed whacker parts, I ended up taking that out of the drawer and putting it back in the same container it had been in originally. It kind of cracked me up a little bit. I was not mad about having to redo my organization. I actually found this really humorous, but now we have 3 shelves dedicated just to car things, and my heart and my brain were just so happy. And then my husband and I were both talking about this, but we were convinced that we had put up a hook for the extension cords. We remember there being a hook here. There's no hole, there's no hook, so I installed one. Very happy. They are easy to find. They are off a flat surface. It felt like a really good finishing spot for the day. And apparently I did not record me cleaning up, but that's okay. But here's the progress from today. I am so happy with how it went. Very nervous for tomorrow to finish up, but look how good this looks. I can't wait to label things, but as like I've been doing, I want to make sure my husband is okay with the organization before I put any labels on anything. And then tomorrow we'll be back to finish zone 4. Hopefully we'll do it, but it really causes me like pain to get rid of containers. I wish I was kidding. It needs to be done. Not looking forward to it.
I'm not gonna lie, today went a lot smoother than I thought it would, but it still took quite a while. Tomorrow's gonna be a doozy. I still have a lot left, but I think once I talk to my husband about like how the organization is going, hopefully I'll do that today because tomorrow's the last day of my challenge in the garage. I will be able to get rid of a lot of these containers because we just aren't gonna need them, and that's gonna really cut down on the clutter. So that's it for me. You know, I'm gonna go shower because it is dirty out here, and then I'm gonna treat myself to like a Rice Krispie treat or something because I deserve it. It's been a long week. 1 day left in this challenge, in this room. I think I can do it. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you later. Bye. It is the last day of the garage cleanout challenge. So we are on, I don't even know what it, day 19 of 25 for Declutter My Whole Home for the holidays. It's day 4 of the garage. There's still a lot left to do, but I'm hopeful we can get it done. I have a helper out here today. I don't know if you can see her back there. Oh, she put her head down. But that is Jasmine, our long-term foster cat. She belongs to my daughter's best friend. So she's just hanging out here for a while, and we adore her. She's just checking on my progress, seeing if there's any mice or anything out here. So we're just gonna let her be. So just a quick reminder of where we started on Monday.
If you've been following along with the series, you know this is messy. It is everywhere. Systems are broken. Things aren't getting put away. Things are just getting thrown out here. I love walking out to the garage now and seeing the 3 days worth of progress and just feeling a weight lifted off of my shoulders. I did not realize how much this garage was stressing me out until I started working on it. So can't wait to finish today.
And here we are today. So on day 1, we conquered this area. And then I set up this table with things for my husband to go through. We went through it last night, but these are things we need to take care of, things that I forgot to ask my son about, more things I have to take care of. So this will be taken care of today. This has to get stored out here. This is moving elsewhere because we're going to try to sell that bed. We don't need it anymore. Rest of zone 1 was done. Items to get rid of. And then zone 2 was this and this workbench, which looks so much better. These are things I need to put away and take care of. And then yesterday we did zone 3, which was back here, and that looks so much better. And then today is zone 4, which I think it looks worse than it actually is. A lot of this is just containers that need to be gone through. And then we're going to go through a lot of stuff up here, get rid of a lot of that, reorganize some of it. And then we've got my donations. And then we also have to finish up here. And then make sure I tackle the top of the freezer as well. So enough talking, let's get to work.
Because over here is just so messy, I'm just starting out really easy. Anything that I know that we are getting rid of, I am just pulling that out immediately. It's going to give me just a really good boost to start seeing some empty space and seeing some progress being done, because honestly, with seeing all these containers here, I really don't know where to start. I have festival tent things everywhere from my art booths. I swear, I really do have a hoarding problem when it comes to containers. People laugh at me, but I really do hoard them. I love them, I collect them, and I do not part with them unless they break. So today is going to be a really big challenge for me when it comes to getting rid of these containers. Something I'm really going to implement is the container method. I'm going to give myself the 4 white cubes that are under the bottom shelf, and I'm going to give myself part of a shelf. And that is it. If the containers don't fit, they need to go. And the irony is not lost on me that I'm using the container method to deal with my containers. Funny pun. I'm so funny. I know I'm really not, but just trying to move along. I need to figure out a way to store our fishing poles better. I pulled out the organizers that I found yesterday, and I don't think they're going to work. So I set the fishing poles aside for now. We'll figure that out later. I'm also getting rid of like our bird feeders because when we have put out our bird feeders, we have gotten large rodents. I'm going to just leave it at that. A couple doors down, they have a rodent problem, and I don't want them to continue venturing over here. So unfortunately, we love to watch the birds, but bird feeders are not in the cards at this point in time. I'll get new ones later if the situation ever improves, but for now, no thank you. All right, just continuing to move along that top shelf. Well, not the top shelf. Up there is just containers that I'm going to use when we redo our sunroom, because I think the vintage wooden like Coca-Cola boxes are just really cute and make really cute storage out there. And then just extra flooring from when we redid our floor in our nook area. When we took the kitchen out, put in like a nook area. So if we ever have any more floor issues, we're just going to use that because we know it matches. And just continuing to go along and just remove anything I know we are decluttering. It's really nice to have a spot for Jasmine's carrier. Finally, she's been here for over a year, and I actually have a spot off the floor for her carrier. I'm going through the pots right now. If you've been following along with any of my videos, you know I am a plant mom. Love to have extra pots around. But this big teal one, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. All of the pots that I use are white and gray, so I'm not even sure how this one came to live in my home. But I actually ended up washing it out, and it's my blanket holder in my sunroom now. When we redo the sunroom, we're going to really put a lot more plants in there. So I think it's kind of cute using a big pot, like a plant pot, for holding the blankets, and all of them fit. And there's room for more. Not that I need any more blankets. If you know, you know. Cozy is my love language. I love blankets. I can never have too many of them. So just nice knowing that there's a room to grow. Not that we have to grow it, but I just think it's a really cute idea, and it matches my color theme out there, which extra bonus. So just continuing to try to make progress. I am jumping around a lot, which honestly was driving me nuts in the moment, but because so many things were just buried, I did not know what to do. I was looking for easy, and sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and just totally just do whatever just makes sense to do next. So actually going through the containers, the struggle was real, but I was really honest with myself and just knowing I'm not going to use these bright colored containers. I'm going to use the clear ones. I'm going to use the gray ones. I am not going to use the bright red ones or the blue ones. And just when you really ask yourself, am I actually ever going to use this? Yeah, and when you're honest with yourself about that, it makes it easier to declutter. So going through those containers, getting overwhelmed again, just not knowing what to do next. The cats kept coming out to say hi, but as soon as I would move, they'd get really scared because I was tearing apart their playground. How dare I? So just moving these containers out made logical sense to go, well, like what to do next, just to give myself some more space to work. I was actually putting everything in my mudroom. I did not get footage of that, but it was a disaster. It took me over an hour to clean it out later. Could I have taken care of everything as I was moving it out? Yes, but honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do with everything. Was I going to donate it? Was I going to try to sell some of the stuff? I didn't know in the moment. So just having it be in a different spot where I could come back later when I was a little bit more rested to just make all those decisions worked for me. And I'm actually using this container, which I've never liked because I don't like the latch, like how it closes. I'm going to use that for my potting soil. It's going to make it really easy to open to get soil when I have to repot anything or plant a pot propagation. And it fit that entire bag of soil, which is exciting that it's big enough for that. And now whenever I get soil, I can just dump it in here, and now I have like 4 bags everywhere in here. So I'm hoping that that will be a good system that'll work for me later. Finding some more containers I want to keep, making a pile just so I know like later when I'm going through it, am I going to be able to fit everything that I want to keep in the area I've designated. I was finding some containers from my pantry before I redid it, and I was going to donate them, but then I remembered my daughter is getting an apartment in June. She might really like these, so I put them in the kitchen to wash them out, let her know that I have them for her for whenever she's home, wants to look at them. And if she doesn't want them, I'll just donate them. No hard feelings. Getting rid of this bookcase. I don't use it for my festivals anymore. And honestly, I bought it used with the top shelf missing, so I know I'm never going to use it here. So I'm going to just donate that. And then I really, really do not want to do my tents. They did not get put away properly after my son's graduation party. That's a long story, and I'm really avoiding it. You can see that, like, I know that that's the next step, but I just don't want to do it. It is much easier to do when there's two people, but I know that if I just set the stuff to the side to do it later, I'm not going to do it later, and any time that I walk into my garage, it's going to stress me out. Now, I did end up putting the box spring in front of this area, so I wouldn't have seen it, but I would have known that it was not taken care of properly. I usually store my tents with the top on them just for ease of like setting them up, and tearing them down is just one less thing I have to do. But when my son had his grad party, I usually take both tents and set them up outside the pavilion. That's what we did for my daughter's graduation party, but his party, there was like severe thunderstorm warnings, potential for a tornado, so I did not put the tops on the tent. I just set the tent up inside the pavilion as best as I could, just to hang like his posters and pictures and things from. So it worked out well, surprisingly well. And actually, we avoided all of the bad weather. Everybody who came to our party said other parties they went to that day had horrible weather. We were able to enjoy the playground and like the baseball field and everything. So we were very blessed. We were very lucky, but I just never took the time to put everything away properly, totally kicking myself. And then my husband makes this look so easy when he puts things away. It just like goes on like butter. And then I sit here and the struggle is real when I try to do it myself, but I got it done. And then outside of the camera field, I'm like all of the tent sides, trying to figure out which tent they belong to. I do just kind of shove them in the pockets or whatever. They do like stay together really well. I'm not worried about damage or anything. So that just makes my life easier. If I can just kind of throw things into a bin or just, shove it into a pocket, I'm more likely to put things away properly, or even just put things away in general. So I need it to be really easy, which is why I love using bins. That originally was something that I'm like, I don't organize well because I just throw things in bins. But if you have ever heard of Cass from Clutterbug, I highly recommend taking the Clutterbug quiz. It'll tell you your organizing style, whether you're visual, like you like to see everything out, or if you want things hidden, or if you're a micro organizer or a macro organizer. I like my things hidden, and I want to just throw things in bins. I did not realize that was okay until I took that quiz, and now I'm like, oh, I don't feel guilty when I just throw things in bins for later. Like, granted, like each bin is like organized or like has like a theme, to it. So like, when I throw like, oh, my pot containers, okay, I just know this bin has all my containers for, my plants in here. I don't have to put them away like specifically. But probably doesn't make sense, but I am a ladybug. I like my things hidden. I like it in bins and baskets. And if you were to take the quiz, you could be a butterfly, a bee, a cricket, or a ladybug. And it is actually a tool that I use when I meet with my clients now that I'm starting my own decluttering and organizing business. It really helps me know the best way to help others organize their things. So I love that tool. It's amazing. If you want to learn more, it's the Clutterbug quiz. All right, back there seems to be done. So we're moving back over to the tool bench just to see the best way to continue to organize things and just putting things away that my husband went through that he wanted to keep. I did on zone 2, so day 2, I did worry a lot about having to redo a lot of my organizing things that I put over here. And honestly, I'm not mad about it, redoing some of the stuff today, just because things were already grouped together and I could see if it works, if it doesn't work, just knowing more about talking to my husband about things, and just more I thought about it, I'm like, okay, I know that this gray drawer unit is wonderful. This is not going to work for us because there's just a better option. So I actually found some little containers, like little index card containers, and a pencil box. So all of the staples, no, not the staples, the nails for like the pin nailer. I had 2 containers. I had 2 different sizes of those. They fit in those really well. In the pencil box, I put the oscillating saw blades and the jigsaw blades in there. Just that way it's not poking through a bag, and it's just really easy for my husband to grab whatever container he needs and then use it and just put it back. I did put some things, I did end up putting some things into labeled storage bags. But like the router stuff has a bin now, so it's not just sitting on top of like the table router. I did put the pin nailer, heat gun, and the staple gun into a bigger container, just so like the small containers with like the staples and pin nails and all of that could fit better. And then ended up going back and redoing an organizing system that I just did. So the bin that like the heat gun and that stuff had been in, I ended up putting all of the gutter parts that my husband wanted kept in there. It was just a little bit smaller, less space on the shelf, and it just protected like the replacement glass for our outdoor windows a little bit better, so I'm not super worried about those breaking. But just feeling so much better in this space, and just looking around, is there anything else I can change really quick, or am I feeling like we're in a good spot? I did find a few things that I do need my husband to talk about, but it's like 3 little things, which is really not bad compared to like the piles of things I've been dealing with the past few days. So I think he's going to be really happy about that. And then just moving to the very last area in the garage, which is the top of the freezer and next to the freezer. I'm not super tall, so I had to use the broom to get the stuff down here. But there's just a lot of bags up here that I know like we don't use and should have thrown out before. And once everything was gone through, I just put everything away. It feels so much neater up there. Then I tackled the side of the freezer, which I had been dreading just because I don't know where the stuff was supposed to live. But now that other things in the garage have homes, it was really easy to put this stuff away. Like, oh, this stuff goes with the gardening. This stuff goes over here with the other tools just like it. So this area was not as stressful as I thought it would be, just because I already knew where everything lived, because I had those zones already set up. I put the table away because this is all I have for my husband to tell me what to do with. I had originally put these in the gray multi-drawer unit, but ended up not needing that. So I just need to know where he wants these to live, but not bad for today. Are you ready for the reveal? I don't think you're ready. I'm so excited. Look how I'm really proud of me. I usually give up day 2, day 3 of doing this garage, but I pushed through. It looks so good. I know I'm going to mention in the end of the video that, I'll let you know how my husband reacted, but of course I'm editing Shauna in the future. So, he loves it. He is so happy. He's like, okay, what project can I work on now? So he's blown away with like how good it looks. I'm so thankful for his support and for his willingness to declutter with things as well. It has been a long journey for us to be able to declutter anything out here. So I'm really proud of both of us. And I ended up realizing that when I did that footage, I hadn't labeled things, so I ended up coming back and like labeling everything. So here's just a quick glimpse of what it looks like with everything labeled, but it looks so good. I am so tired. 4 days of this was a lot. But shout out to past Shauna for scheduling a nice, light, easy task for tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that, but I can't believe I finished this. It looks so good. I should have done this earlier. I don't think if I had done this earlier, I would have been as ruthless going through everything. So if my husband was a different man, I would totally record his reaction when he gets home from work today, but he is not, and that is okay. So he's a very private man, which I love that about him. So I'll let you know tomorrow what he thought. But yeah, I'm going to call this a very, very huge success. I hope you enjoyed this 4-part mini-series in the Decluttering the Home for the Holidays challenge. So
yeah, I'm gonna go shower and nap because I'm so tired. I'm gonna ignore the mudroom. It is full of all the containers and things, but I can deal with that in a little bit. I need to rest first. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me as I cleaned out this garage. I'll see you next time. Bye.